Hi, this is Valerie from myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com, and this video is a album flip of my Christmas album that I do every year since 2011. In my last blog post, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing Journal Your Christmas this year, but I didn't want to abandon the project I've been doing. So I wanted to just do a little album flip so you can see what the project is that I've been doing, and maybe you'll understand why I want to continue to do it. So this is the binder. It is a Pioneer binder that I got from Joann's, and it's faux leather, and it's embossed all around this little frame. And I just took one of our Christmas cards from a few years ago and stuck in there. I don't know, I might put something different in there someday, but that's working from now. When you open up the album, each year has a title page, right? It says Advent. That'll be some picture from that year, a sentence or two describing how I felt about Christmas that year, and the year. And then each year I choose one or two digital kits to include, and it's always digital and completely digital. And I do that one, because it's quick, but the other reason that I do it in digital is because it is going to lay really flat. So right now I have 4 years in this book, 2011 through 2014, and it's fitting quite nicely, and I could add some more post-bound extenders and would have no trouble extending this book quite a bit. I'll probably do maybe another 4 years in this book, and then get a new binder. So what I do is I take some of the things that seemed to come out and be that look like they might have become traditions, and make sure and give them their own spread. And some of them you'll see continue on till the next year, and some of them we may not have continued to do. So now we're starting 2012, so this is a new one. And as you can see as you go through, I do like a red and green Christmas. So I do like to keep my kits as a sort of traditional red and green, but I do want the kits to look a little bit different from each other so that you can tell when you're switching from one year to the next. So reading together as a family is a really big deal as part of our Advent calendar. We have activities that we do every single day during Advent, and so we check out Christmas books from the library, we read the Christmas story from the Bible. I took a compilation of Christmas storybooks and cut it apart and rebound each story into its own book, so we have our own Christmas stories. So I have that as one of our, it got its own page because, every year we have books, we read them together, and, it's a theme that we continue every year. So if there's anything that's kind of a big deal or a new thing, then it gets its own page. This is a day trip that we took to Washington, D.C., where we live in a suburb of D.C., so we always do a D.C. trip, at least one, during Advent. I always have my Christmas cards, and I'm sorry about the glare. If there's a glare on the pages, I need enough light that you can see the pictures on the camera, but that also means that there's going to be some glare. In 2013, we started the Elf on a Shelf, and it's just a fun little thing, and it was really nice when I just didn't have the energy to do an activity. We would play hide and go seek with the elf. I would have my girls go up to their room and count to 100 and then tell them that Elf would hide, and they would come back down and try to figure out where Elf was hiding. And it was just something that was really an easy thing for me to do. We were doing something Christmas related, but it didn't require planning or getting in the car or anything like that, on those days that I was just too tired. I also like to include a collage of the decorations that we did that year. We have, we use pretty much the same decorations, but there's always something a little different that I do. So in 2013, so this is started 2013. So that was the division between 2012 and 2013, and this is the title page for 2013. So in 2013, I did a 12 Days of Christmas exchange from Two Peas in a Bucket, and so that was included. I did this little Advent banner, and this year I did a little village. So there's always some things that I add to and take away from, so I want to document those things. We make a gingerbread house every single year, so sometimes that gets its own page, sometimes it's in a spread like this. My mom bought me a sourdough starter, so in 2013 we made a lot of sourdough. And then I like to also include just little bits of everyday life sorts of stuff. If if there's just a story that I think was cute and I want to tell, then I'll stick them in here too. Okay, so that's the end of 2013, and here is 2014. So this was the 1 year, 2013 was the 1 year that I didn't go for really traditional colors. I just didn't feel like buying a kit that year, and so I dug into all my digital kits and just pulled out different papers and elements from many different designers, many different kits, and put something together for myself. And so that one was not as traditional as the rest of the kits. But anyway, so then this is 2014, and we're back to a traditional color scheme. And 2014 we were traveling and it was really busy, and so all of the pages in 2014 are sort of collages of pictures from several days. Well, this is just my husband's birthday, but we decorated cookies on lots of days, and I discovered my new favorite thing for decorating cookies last year, which is that we use those Wilton's melting chocolates, and we put them in the little squeeze bottles, and the kids can then squeeze that candy out. It lasts forever. We can just keep melting it and letting it cool, and melting it, letting it cool, and then we can, we make the cookies. They are all round. We don't make them in different shapes, but we do those slice and bake cookies. And so really quickly we can have a fun little decorating session. It doesn't take a lot of time, and but it is a lot of fun. We took the kids ice skating for the first time last year, so I included that. And then the last page from last year was during our travel, so I've got just a few pictures from what our Christmas was like in Miami. They do a Noche Buena party, which is on Christmas Eve, and so that's a little different than what we do when we're up here in Maryland where I live. So that is my Christmas album, and I really like it, and it's not a difficult album to complete every year, and I love that it's contained. And this year, since I'm doing Journal Your Christmas, I think this is again going to be one of those years that there aren't a ton of pages in this album, but I think that I'll still like having 2015 as part of this album. So I hope you enjoyed the little album flip, and you can follow my Journal Your Christmas journey on my blog, which is myrainbowcoalition.blogspot.com, and thanks for watching.